When the sky is dry, go back to the golden leaf brush and use the colour shadow, not too strong, and I'm just going to very lightly stipple the shape of the tree on the right hand side, the centre tree. So we create twigs, and once we put the branches in, it will all come together. While that's drying off, just put some colour down into the foreground. I'm going to use a touch of permanent rose, a little bit of yellow, cadmium yellow, and put some of that into the snow there. This is the reflected light from the sunset. Then cobalt blue with the colour shadow. And start to paint in these tracks over the top of the masking fluid. Stipple some of that underneath the tree and the post box. Water that down a little bit lighter by the cottage. Touch of raw sienna. Put that colour into the foreground just to give it a little bit more contrast, and so it's not all shadow and orange. Shadow with cobalt blue and a touch of burnt sienna. Right, with that darker colour, just put that in the back of the lane, just by the side of the wall. And over here at the back of the cottage, just a bit darker. Some burnt sienna with shadow. And make that just darker underneath the post box and at the side of the tree. Underneath the wall and on the hedge in front of the cottage. And again, let that dry off. The next stage is the cottage wall. I'm going to use some burnt sienna, not too strong, but I'm going to tone it down with a touch of shadow. So paint that in ever so carefully. So some burnt sienna on its own. Then, with some shadow, drop that into the wet. So this is wet into wet. A bit darker underneath the eave of the cottage. Light colour on the side of the porch. And on the side of the building, similar colour. So this is burnt sienna, touch of shadow. Just drop that into the wet. On the brick wall, on the right hand side, so we start off with light colour first, burnt sienna, then the colour shadow, drop that into there, wet into wet, just let it run into the first colour. And the cottage at the back, shadow with a little bit of burnt sienna. Paint around the window frame. Put a chimney pot on there. And similar thing on the main cottage. So darken up the hedge in front of the cottage. Then let it dry. With the medium detail brush, we're going to paint in the windows. We're going to start with some cadmium yellow and paint the centre window with a light on, and also the cottage back there also has a light on. While that's drying, with a dark colour, this is burnt umber with some ultramarine. So really quite dark. Paint into the window there with a dark colour. Dark colour underneath the windowsill, and moving on to some shadow, the colour shadow, and paint the little dormer windows in the thatch. With the shadow colour, just darken underneath the eave of the thatch on the porch. Underneath this little extension on the side of the cottage, and underneath the snow-covered thatch on the end of the building there. Still with that dark colour, just paint in some brickwork on the wall. Don't overdo it, just a few randomly placed bricks like that. Just a little bit of shadow underneath the snow on the top of the wall. Now that the yellow has dried, with shadow, paint in the window frame on top. And to finish off the cottage, some cadmium red with a touch of shadow, and painting the door